Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you for a moment, because love, real love, doesn't always come wrapped in fancy words. A man can say, "I love you" 1,000 times. But when he's truly in love, you won't have to guess. His actions will speak so loud, they'll drown out every doubt in your mind. See, when a man is in love, he becomes consistent. He shows up, not just when it's convenient, not just when it feels good, but when it's hard, when it's uncomfortable, when life gets messy. Love ain't about big moments only. It's about the everyday choice to be there. Let me slow this thing down and make it plain. Consistency is the loudest proof of love a man can give you without opening his mouth. Anybody can show up once. Anybody can be amazing for a week, a month, even a season. But consistency? That takes intention, discipline, and real feelings. When a man is truly in love, you don't have to wonder where he stands, because he stands in the same place every single day. A consistent man doesn't disappear when things get uncomfortable. He doesn't go silent when you ask real questions. He doesn't show affection today and act like a stranger tomorrow. His energy doesn't change based on his mood, his money, or who's watching. If he calls you regularly. If he checks on you, he does it without being reminded. If he says he'll be there, you don't sit by the phone hoping, because he already showed you that his word means something. Consistency is how a man tells you that you matter in his routine, not just in his emotions. You're not squeezed in when he's bored. You're not an option when nothing else is going on. You're part of his life flow. He makes time, not excuses. And let me tell you something important. Time is the one thing a man will never give to something he doesn't value. A man who loves you consistently doesn't make you feel anxious. You're not guessing how he feels today. You're not replaying old messages trying to decode his tone. You're not overthinking because his behavior already gave you clarity. Love that's real brings peace, not confusion. Confusion comes from inconsistency, and inconsistency comes from uncertainty, not love. See, a man can be charming and inconsistent. He can be emotional and inconsistent. He can even be passionate and inconsistent. But none of that equals love. Love shows up even when it's tired. Love checks in even when it's busy. Love stays steady when everything else is shaking. Consistency is how a man silently tells you, "You can rely on me." And don't get it twisted, consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means effort. It means accountability. It means when he messes up, he corrects it instead of repeating it. When he falls short, he doesn't disappear, he communicates. That right there is a man who's invested. So when you're trying to figure out if a man loves you, don't get hypnotized by big speeches or emotional moments. Watch his patterns. Watch how he treats you on regular days, boring days, hard days. Because a man who is consistently present is a man who is consistently choosing you, and that choice, made over and over again, is love without words. Let me tell you something real about love. When a man truly loves you, he doesn't bring storms into your life, he brings shelter. Protecting your peace is one of the clearest signs that a man is in love, and it doesn't require a single word. You feel it in how calm your spirit is around him. You feel it in the way problems don't multiply. When he shows up, they get smaller. A man who protects your peace is mindful of how his actions affect you. He doesn't speak carelessly just to win an argument. He doesn't raise his voice to feel powerful. He understands that love isn't about being right, it's about being respectful. When there's disagreement, he chooses understanding over ego. He knows that hurting you emotionally just to prove a point is a loss, not a win. This kind of man doesn't play mind games. He doesn't disappear to mate. You miss him. He doesn't create jealousy to feel important. He doesn't leave you confused on purpose. Confusion is stressful, and stress destroys peace. A man in love doesn't want you anxious, insecure, or doubting yourself. He wants you calm, confident, and secure, because your peace reflects his commitment. Protecting your peace also means he knows when to step in and when to step back. He doesn't control you. He doesn't micromanage your life. He trusts you. He respects your independence and supports your decisions, even when they don't center around him. That kind of trust creates emotional safety, and emotional safety is where real love lies. A man who values your peace also sets boundaries with the outside world. He doesn't allow friends, family, or outsiders to disrespect you. He doesn't entertain conversations that undermine your relationship. If something threatens your emotional well-being, he addresses it quietly, firmly, without drama, because love doesn't need an audience. Now understand, this protecting your peace isn't always soft and sweet. Sometimes it looks like honesty. Sometimes it looks like difficult conversations handled with care. A man in love won't lie to keep things smooth for the moment if the truth protects you in the long run. Temporary discomfort is better than long-term chaos, and a mature man knows the difference. And here's the part a lot of people miss. A man who protects your peace is also working on his own. He manages his emotions. He takes responsibility for his triggers. He doesn't dump his unresolved issues on you and call it love. He understands that loving you means being emotionally disciplined, not emotionally reckless. So if you want to know whether a man loves you, pay attention to how you feel after being around him. Are you calmer, clearer, more secure, or are you drained, anxious, and constantly on edge? A man who truly loves you will guard your peace like it's something valuable, because to him it is. Let me make this crystal clear. When a man is truly in love, he doesn't keep you on the sidelines of his life. He brings you into the game. Inclusion is one of the most powerful silent signs of love, because a man only opens his world to someone he sees as permanent, not temporary. A man in love doesn't treat you like a secret or a convenience. You're not hidden from his friends, his family, or his everyday life. You're not introduced vaguely or kept separate from the parts of his world that matter. He wants the people who matter to him to know you, because in his mind, you matter too. Love doesn't compartmentalize, it connects. Inclusion shows up in the small, everyday ways before it ever shows up in big gestures. He talks to you about his day, his challenges, his wins, and his worries. He values your opinion and actually considers it when making decisions, not because he needs permission, but because your perspective matters to him. When a man is in love, your voice has weight in his life. A man who includes you also includes you in his future thinking. He doesn't dodge conversations about tomorrow. He doesn't make plans that stop just short of you. When he talks about where he's going, you're already there naturally, not forced. Even when the future is uncertain, you're part of the picture, because he can't imagine building anything meaningful without you. Now here's something important. Real inclusion is consistent, not performative. It's not about posting you for validation or making a show out of the relationship. It's about alignment. His actions line up with the idea that you are a priority. He considers how his choices affect you. He doesn't move as if he's single while claiming he's committed. His life makes room for you without you having to ask. Inclusion also means emotional access. A man in love allows you to see him when he's not at his best. He doesn't pretend to be perfect. He shares his fears, his doubts, and his struggles. That level of vulnerability is rare, and a man only offers it when he trusts you deeply. Letting you into his emotional world is him saying without words, this is real. And understand this, when a man includes you, he also defends your place in his life. He doesn't let others minimize your role or disrespect your presence. He corrects misunderstandings. He sets boundaries, not loudly, not dramatically, but firmly. Because once you're part of his world, protecting that space becomes his responsibility. So if you're ever wondering whether a man loves you, look at where you stand in his life. Are you woven into it or kept on the edges? A man in love doesn't just make room for you. He builds with you in mind every step of the way. Let me tell you something most people overlook. When a man is truly in love, he listens in a way that feels different. Not just hearing words, not waiting for his turn to talk, but listening to understand your heart. That kind of listening doesn't need announcements or promises. You feel it in how seen and heard you are around him. A man in love pays attention to what you say and what you don't say. He notices the change in your tone, the pause in your voice, the silence that follows a hard day. You don't always have to explain yourself in detail because he's already tuned in. That level of awareness only comes when a man is emotionally invested, not just present out of habit. Listening also means he remembers. He remembers what matters to you, what hurts you, what makes you smile. Not because he wrote it down, but because it stayed with him. He brings it up later, sometimes when you least expect it. And in that moment you realize he was never half listening. A man who loves you stores your words in his heart, not just in his ears. When a man is in love, listening changes how he responds. He doesn't rush to fix everything unless you ask him to. He doesn't dismiss your feelings or tell you you're too much. He validates what you're experiencing, even if he doesn't fully understand it yet. He asks questions, not to challenge you, but to get closer to your truth. That kind of response creates safety, and safety is where love grows. Listening also shows up during conflict. A man who loves you doesn't shut down or get defensive every time there's tension. He allows you to express yourself without punishment. He may not agree with everything you say, but he respects your right to say it. He listens past his ego, past the need to win, because preserving the connection matters more than proving a point. And here's something powerful: a man who listens learns how to love you better. He adjusts his behavior based on what he hears. If something hurts you, he tries not to repeat it. If something uplifts you, he leans into it. That willingness to adapt is proof that your feelings aren't just acknowledged, they're valued. Listening is also how a man supports your dreams. He takes your aspirations seriously. He doesn't belittle them or treat them like hobbies. He asks about your progress, encourages you when you doubt yourself, and stands beside you when things get difficult. He listens to your vision of life and finds ways to fit himself into it, not replace it. So if you're wondering whether a man loves you, ask yourself this: when you speak, do you feel rushed, ignored, or minimized? Or do you feel understood, respected, and safe? A man who truly listens is telling you, without words, that your thoughts, your feelings, and your voice matter to him deeply. Let me tell you the truth about a man in love. Love doesn't leave him the same. It moves him. It challenges him. It calls him higher. When a man is truly in love, growth isn't forced on him. It's inspired by the woman he loves. You don't have to beg him to do better, because loving you makes him want to become better. A man in love starts to look at himself differently. He becomes more aware of his habits, his mindset, and his choices. Things he once ignored, he now questions, not because you demanded change, but because he realizes that the way he lives affects you. Love introduces accountability, and accountability leads to growth. This growth shows up in how he handles responsibility. He becomes more intentional with his time, his money, and his energy. He thinks long-term instead of living only for the moment. He understands that building something meaningful requires discipline, and love gives him a reason to embrace that discipline instead of running from it. When a man is growing because of love, his communication improves. He learns how to express himself instead of shutting down. He works on patience instead of reacting impulsively. He doesn't disappear when things get uncomfortable. He stays present and works through it. Growth doesn't mean he never makes mistakes. It means he doesn't stay stuck in them. A man in love also becomes more emotionally mature. He starts taking responsibility for his triggers instead of blaming you for his reactions. He reflects. He apologizes when he's wrong. And most importantly, he makes real effort not to repeat the same hurtful patterns. Change backed by effort is one of the clear signs of genuine love. Now understand, this real growth is quiet. It's not about grand announcements or dramatic transformations overnight. It's about consistent improvement over time. It's about choosing better responses, healthier habits, and wiser decisions again and again. A man who loves you may not say, "I'm changing for you," but you'll see it in how he moves. Growth also means he becomes more supportive of your own evolution. He doesn't feel threatened by your success or your independence. Instead, he celebrates it. He encourages you to grow, to dream bigger, to become more. A man who is insecure will try to hold you back. A man in love will push you forward. And here's the key point: a man who grows because of love understands that becoming better isn't just for you, it's for the relationship. He knows that love requires maintenance, effort, and self-awareness. He doesn't expect love to survive on feelings alone. He invests in becoming someone capable of sustaining it. So if you want to know whether a man loves you, look at the direction his life is moving. Is he evolving, maturing, and taking responsibility? Or is he staying the same while expecting you to adjust? A man who is growing is a man who is serious. And serious love always leaves a man better than it found him. Let me leave you with something powerful. When a man truly loves you, respect is not optional. It's automatic. He doesn't have to announce it, and he doesn't have to perform it. You feel it in the way he treats you, the way he speaks to you, and the way he honors who you are. Respect is the foundation that holds love up when emotions rise and fall. A man in love respects your time. He doesn't waste it, ignore it, or take it lightly. He understands that your time is part of your life, and life is valuable. He doesn't keep you waiting without explanation. He doesn't make promises he can't keep. When he commits to something, he follows through, because respect means your time matters just as much as his. Respect also shows up in how he speaks to you, especially when things aren't going well. He doesn't insult you, belittle you, or use your vulnerabilities against you. Even in anger, he maintains a level of care. He understands that words can leave scars long after emotions cool down, so he chooses them wisely. Love without respect becomes cruelty the moment frustration appears. A man who respects you also honors your boundaries. He doesn't push past your comfort to satisfy his own desires. He listens when you say no. He doesn't guilt you, pressure you, or manipulate you into giving more than you're ready to give. Respect means he values your autonomy and understands that love is never about control. Respect is also about trust. A man in love doesn't constantly question your integrity or try to monitor your every move. He doesn't accuse without reason or demand proof of loyalty. He trusts your character and gives you the freedom to be yourself. That trust creates security, and security is one of the purest expressions of love. Another quiet sign of respect is how he talks about you when you're not around. A man who loves you doesn't entertain jokes at your expense or allow others to disrespect you. He defends your name, protects your dignity, and speaks of you with honor. Even in private conversations, he treats your relationship as something sacred. Respect also means he values your voice. He doesn't talk over you or dismiss your thoughts. He invites your opinion and genuinely considers it. He may not always agree, but disagreement never turns into dismissal. He understands that partnership means two perspectives, not one dominant voice. And here's the truth: without respect, love cannot survive. Attraction may last, emotions may flare, but respect is what makes love sustainable. A man who respects you is telling you without words that he sees your worth, recognizes your value, and refuses to treat you as anything less. So when you're trying to determine whether a man truly loves you, don't focus only on how passionate he is or how often he says the right things. Look at how consistently he respects you, because respect is love, demonstrated in action every single day.